What is up, my geeks and peeps, my ducks and pucks, my little crawdads? It is me, Voodoo Person 102, and today I am reading chapters 13 to the end of Yes by MoonGazer215. We are starting with Logan's POV chapter of his wedding with Patton, and let me just say that it's amazing. 10 out of 10 story. We're going to the end of the whole series. If you need to watch the rest of the series, my Wattpad Read Aloud list will be in the iCard to your top right. And I want to ask you guys, do you guys like this black format? Like with the screen being black, or do you like seeing what's on my screen like I did last week? Let me know in the comments below. So, going on with Wedding, Logan's POV. The church looked beautiful. The walls were white and gray, the tables light blue tablecloth and lilac-colored streamers were hung everywhere. Dark blue orchids added the finishing touch to the scene. Ordeletta Ray was wearing a black tank dress with daisy flower crown and was sitting at one of the tables conversating with Roman and Thomas. Splats the panda was in an elegant black dress, petting Jana next to him. I'm Alive Peeps was standing at the front wearing brassiere attire and a gray and black flower crown and talking with some of the other guests. Sack Potato Croissant was wearing a suit with a green tie that matched her hair, was complimenting Prince Heidi all the ways, dark green and black dress. Doritos and Ice Cream and Franny 0915 looked stunning in their blue dresses. I looked at the two bridesmaids. Death by Fanfic was in the floor-left macaroon dress, and Leslie was in a black suit and a gorgeous black flower crown. Patton was getting ready with the other two bridesmaids. Virgil is a mood, and Smiles a nerd was later wearing a very flattering red dress. Virgil came out and placed a hand on my shoulder. Dude, where did all these people come from? They are the readers, Virgil, I explained. Didn't the author tell you? Virgil shook his head. I sighed and pointed over to two people. One was in a tuxedo top and an elegant skirt. The other was wearing a midnight blue suit with silver lining. The author is the one in the suit and the person next to him is his date mate, Emo Nightmare 091. I said, go talk to them. They'll explain things. Virgil nodded and made their way over to the two. Soon everyone is in their places. I was standing at the altar next to Peeps. Behind me stood Death by Fanfic and Leslie. Music started playing and the door swung open. Cinderside Girl was wearing a simple pastel purple dress and watched Looney Love God XXX, who was in green, as he walked down the aisle throwing dark blue orchid petals on the ground. Patton followed in a pastel blue suit. My jaw nearly dropped. He looked incredible. Hey, he said to me quietly as he reached me. Hey, I responded breathlessly. Virgil mood and Smiley's was giggling behind Patton. Do you, Logan Sanders, take Patton to be your lawfully wedded husband? Peeps asked. I do. No, that was Logan, I'm sorry. I do, I said, not taking my eyes off of Patton. Do you, Patton Sanders, take Logan to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do, Patton giggled. You may now kiss the groom, Peeps cheered. I didn't hesitate to capture Patton's lips. The crowd cheered and Patton pulled me closer. I'll never forget Patton's smile when we broke apart, or his laugh, or him, really. Then we finally remembered that we were out in public. In New York, you could be a new man, was crying and adjusting their black JoJo Siwa bow. Gamer Cat 111 refolded their purple pocket square and tightened their purple tie happily. Curtain 7 was jumping up and down, causing their black and purple dress to flutter around, and the white on their tux top to shine. Cinderside's 53-106 was smiling as bright as their white tie and tips on their hair. Francisco's purple and white sequins on their black dress shone in the light. Potato Cake's 14-2, who was wearing a white dress shirt, flowy slacks, and deep red lace and heels, was fangirling. Patton giggled and threw his bouquet out into the crowd. It practically landed in Virgil's arms. The black and purple suit wearing trait blushed furiously and buried his face into his fiancée's shoulder. The crowd cheered again. Time skip. Penn and I lay in our bed. Today has been wonderful. We met so many lovely people. Heck, we got married. Hey, Loki, Patton said. I love you. I pulled him closer and kissed his head. I love you too, Patton Cake. Patton smiled and snuggled closer to me. His eyes fluttered close. I must have been the luckiest man alive. Having him back is the most wonderful thing in the world. Well, maybe starting a family. I blinked. Where did that come from? I looked down at my now husband. Raising a child with him. One we could call our own? I smiled at the thoughts. Sigh softly. I took off mine and Patton's glasses and set them on the nightstand. I pulled up the blankets and turned off the lamp. I thought about the idea of a family. Our own family. Was it really something I wanted? I smiled softly. Yes. And now we are at Chapter 14, Wedding 2.0, Virgil's POV. Hey, Virg, just breathe, Franny0915 told me, pulling me into a quick hug. You'll do great, Gotcha Girl 123 smiled. Thanks, I told the two bridesmaids. The tent flap opened and Patton poked his head in. Hey, kiddos, he smiled. It's time. I gulped and nodded. Patton came to me and straightened my purple bow tie. There, Patton said. Now you're ready. I looked up to see tears in his eyes. Hey, Dad, what's wrong? Patton laughed lightly and pulled me into a hug. You've grown up so much. I smiled, wrapping my arms around him. He squeezed me one more time before taking a step back. Now go get married, Patton said. I'm rooting for you, kiddo. Patton walked back to join the other guests. I turned around. Ready? I asked the bridesmaids. They nodded. I opened the tent flap. It was obviously beautiful, a wide open field right near the sea. The chairs were white and deep purple, and gold ribbons attached. Purple balloons with gold swirls were tied to the ground by a white string. It seemed everyone came. Eleni, Prince Heidi all the way, Maximin 204, Cindersides 53 106, Death by Fanfic, Larry's Real 20, Perry Amethyst 1, Non-Binary Booch, Ellen Brim, Virgil Sanders, Sweet Creepy 50, Potato Cakes 142, Awful Pigs Arts were all sitting in audience. Zach Potato Croissant was wearing a suit with green tie that matched the tips of his hair. In New York, You Could Be a New Man was in a stunning purplish gray dress. Prince Riding 12 was standing next to him. Crimped 7, who had a black and purple ombre tux jacket over the black dress in purple swirls, and on the head was a small black crown with purple jewels. Doritos and Ice Cream was wearing black heels and a red lace dress that matched their lipstick. Paige 306 wore a purple dress with a slit on the left side and a white flower crown. Shipping God 1234 was in a black and purple spiderweb pattern dress. The flower girls stood two on either side of the aisle. Luzin Lion and Kanganu on the left, and a fangirl 29 and Cinderside girl on the right. But out of all the people there, Roman was the only one I could focus on. He wore a white suit with gold trim and a red tie. He had a bouquet of red daffodils. Roman's POV. Virgil looks incredible. He was wearing a black suit with lilac trim and deep purple tie. I heard my bridesmaid, Smiles, a nerd, gasp. Jana purred and flickered her tail. I watched him walk up the aisle, a blush clear on his face. He made it up the aisle to the altar, and I couldn't stop a stupid grin from forming. The minister started talking, and Legends of Olympus came up with the rings. Do you, Roman Sanders, take Virgil to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do, I said. Do you, Virgil Sanders, take Roman to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do. Virgil smiled. You may now kiss the groom. You didn't have to tell me twice. I kissed him eagerly, longing to taste that black licorice that seemed to belong solely to his lips. When we broke apart, everyone cheered. Gamer Cat 11 started crying. I raised my hand. Now I believe Franny is going to sing. Franny came up and took a deep breath, beginning to sing Seasons of Love. Everyone cheered again at Franny's beautiful singing. I went up and gave him a hug. I went to go back to Virgil, but I saw he was hugging Crim 7, so I decided to not interrupt. Then Lily tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, Roman, can I talk to you? They said. Of course, I replied. Great, Lily said. I just wanted you to know that if you hurt Virgil or break his heart or anything similar, I'm going to kill you, understand? I nodded quickly. Yes. Chapter 15. 10 years later. Virgil's POV. No! Angst whined as he pulled on his tie. I don't want to wear a tie. Please, Angst, I asked, just for today. The 5-year-old shook his head. I sighed. Ro, I called. Yes, my dear, he asked, poking his head out of the bathroom. Ank won't wear his tie, I told him. Ank stuck his tongue out. It's stupid. Well, didn't you want to look nice for Prince and Missy's wedding? Roman asked. Besides, it's only for a little while. Angst pouted and crossed his arms. Okay, Daddy. I smiled and picked up the boy. Roman walked over and tied up Angst's tie. I pecked Ro on the cheek, then Angst on the head. Are we ready? I asked. Angst fell against me, still pouting. Roman laughed lightly. I am in love, he said. Ang, are you going to be good? I asked. Angst groaned. Yes, Papa. Sen's going to be there, Roman reminded the boy. Ang's eyes lit up and jumped out of my arms. He started tugging at mine and Roman's sleeves. Let's go, Angst giggled. Yeah, Virg, let's go, Roman joined in. You're such a child, I said, but I couldn't help but a small smile on my face. Roman's POV. Virgil sighed. All right, come on. I smiled and kissed him quickly. Then Angst pulled us to the door. The boy was dressed in a black and red suit with a white tie. In one hand, he held his blanket and a small black and red thing he's had since forever. Angst skipped ahead of us. I reached out and grabbed Virgil's hand. He smiled and leaned his head against my shoulder. Uncle Pat, Uncle Lo, Angst yelled. Hey, kiddo, Patton laughed, picking up the boy and swinging him around. Angst giggled. Where's Sen? He's in the kitchen getting a glass of water, Patton explained. Uncle Ro! Uncle Virg! Or he's right there, Patton chuckled to himself. Patton and Logan's kid, Common Sense, ran up and threw himself into my arms. Sen! Angst exclaimed. Angst! Sem clambered out of my arms and ran to the other boy, squeezing him in a hug. Virgil crossed his arms. Hey, where's my hug? Sorry, Uncle Virg. San ran over and hugged Virgil's legs. It's fine, son. Virgil smiled, ruffling the boy's hair. Now go play. But try not to get your nice clothes dirty, Logan warned. San gave him a dull look, and I didn't think 5-year-old could pull off. Patton's POV. I smiled as I watched the two kiddos run off. They were just so darn cute. Logan came up and took my hand. What are you thinking about, Patton Cake? Logan asked. Nothing, I hummed. You were thinking about how cute the kids were, weren't you? Logan smiled. Maybe, I drawled out, lying my head on his shoulder and looking up at him. Logan shook his head. I leaned up and pecked his cheek. Hey, guys, Prank said, walking into the commons, which were where the ceremony was being held. I turned to look at him and started tearing up. My kiddo was all grown up. It seemed like only yesterday he was a little 1-year-old that Virgil had hidden away. Now he's 26 and getting married. Hey, kiddo, I said, smiling. You look great. Pranks laughed. Thanks, Dad. It was true. He was wearing a purple and white tuxedo with a gray paint splatter design. I went up and hugged him. Pranks sighed when I released him. The wedding's about to start. Logan's POV. Good luck, kiddo, Patton said as Pranks walked up to the altar. I'll go find the kids, Roman said. You guys find seats. We nodded, and Roman departed, leaving Virgil with one last kiss. Patton smiled and took my hand, leading me over to Thomas's where Thomas, Deceit, and MG sat. Roman came back. Angst was slung over his shoulder, giggling, while Sen clung to Roman's leg. Thomas! Angst gasped when we sat down. Hey, Ang, Thomas said as the kid ran up to him and hugged him. Have you grown? Angst giggled and nodded. The music started playing. Deceit's point of view. The doors opened and Missy walked into view with a bouquet of white lilies. He was wearing a blue plaid patterned tuxedo with a simple gray bow tie. Wow, MG breathed. I looked over at him. I couldn't believe he's 20 now. I was pulled back to the wedding by the pastor speaking. Do you, Prank Sanders, take misleading compliments to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do. Do you, misleading compliments, Sanders, take pranks to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do. You may now kiss the groom. Pranks' POV. I gently held Missy's hand. I kissed him. He wrapped his arms around my neck and deepened the kiss. We broke apart and looked at our family, who were clapping. Patton was crying, and everyone else was smiling. I looked down at our hands, still intertwined. Our rings gleamed in the light, simply gold bands. All right, Patton said. It's time to cut the cake. I laughed and pulled Missy over to our wedding cake. It was 3-tier white square cake with a rainbow of butterflies flying up one side. I picked up the knife and smiled at my new husband. Together, we cut the cake. Missy's point of view. I didn't know the inside was a rainbow. I looked up at Pranks and saw a goofy grin, and I knew he did it. You're a dork, I laughed. Well, only the best for you, Pranks replied. I love you. I love you too. Can you hurry up? Virgil joked. I want cake. Yes. Now, I think this is chapter 15. I could be wrong. I lost count. This chapter is entitled The End, and it's just the author talking about the end, but there is bonus chapters, which I will read through now, once it loads. And luckily, that wasn't the end of the book, because I don't want to end on the kids' weddings 10 years later, because no. They were gone. Roman and Angst disappeared. The pottery mug I made for Roman for our 8th year anniversary the other week lied in pieces on the floor. Angst's blanket lay next to it. I felt the word crash below me. This couldn't be real. Roman was just fine yesterday. Angst was only 3. They couldn't be. No. I sat in bed looking around. No one was there. I took the time. 1:01 a.m. Roman? I croaked out, Roman? No response. My mind started reeling. Wasn't it just a dream? Did it really happen? Are Roman and Angst really gone? I clutched onto the blanket as my breathing picked up. My mind was so clouded with awful possibilities that I didn't dare notice Roman walk into the room. Verge! Hey, Verge! Just breathe. In and out. I latched onto Roman, finally securing that he was there. I felt a little tug on my sleeve. Angst was there, looking up with me with big 3-year-old eyes. Papa, bad dream? He asked. He said, asked, whatever. I nodded, and he hugged me. Roman pressed a kiss to the side of my head. I sighed and closed my eyes. My family was here. Everything was okay. Angst yawned. Are you tired, Ang? Roman asked in a hushed voice. The little 3-year-old nodded and pulled his blanket further up the bed. I smiled and smoothed down his hair. I laid in bed, pulling Roman with me. Angst curled up between us. Soon we were all in a deep, dreamless sleep. Bonus chapter number 1 complete. Oh. Hear those, like, sirens going off. No. This isn't a chapter. This is her showing off her puppies, and it's him showing off his puppies. I'm a little dumb. I'm sorry. Could you turn that down? I'm sorry. So bonus chapter number 2. Pappy, Son giggled. You have flour in your hair. I laughed and shook my head, causing flour to go all over the kitchen. Son shrieked with laughter. Logan sighed. This is a mess, he said from his spot at the table. Father's right, Son nodded. It's gonna take a long time to clean up. Yeah, but we could do it that while the cookies are baking, I said. Son nodded and picked up a cookie tray. He was remarkably smart for a 6-year-old. I helped him put the tray in the oven. Thanks, Pappy, Son said, giving me a hug. No problem, kiddo, I laughed. Now let's clean up. Son nodded and grabbed a cloth from the sink. He knelt on the ground and started cleaning up the flour and sugar and other ingredients that spilled on the floor. I started gathering all the utensils and putting them in the sink. I turned to grab another spoon from the counter, but a knife from last night's dinner fell. It landed blade first onto my hand. I yelped and jumped back. Pappy, are you okay? Son asked, sitting up quickly. I smiled at him. I'm fine, Son. Just a little cut. Logan closed his book he was reading and walked over. Let me look. He took my hand and rinsed it over some water. A red line ran diagonally across the back of my hand. Son, can you get my first aid kit, please? Logan asked. The 6-year-old nodded and ran off to the bathroom, quickly returning with a white box. He handed it to Logan, who opened it and brought out some gauze wrap. Logan wrapped it around my hand a few times before taking it in place. There, he said. Please be more careful. I kissed him. I know. Are you better now, Pappy? Son asked. Yeah, I ruffled his hair. I'm okay now. Okay, Son said. When are the cookies done? Logan and I laughed. About 5 more minutes, kiddo, Logan said. Son laughed. No, that's what Pappy says, Father. Yeah, I joked. That's what I say. Oh, shush, he said. I gave him another kiss. Okay, Son, let's finish cleaning up. Son nodded and picked up the cloth again. 5 minutes later, the counters were clear and the cookies were cooling, and the 3 traits were fast asleep, cuddled up on the couch. We're going to the last one of the last bonus chapters. I think there's 5 and we're on 3. Okay. You're going down, deceit, MG mocked. I won't be defeated so easily, I retorted. I thought you weren't lying anymore, old man, MG sassed. At least I grew up, I smirked. At least I didn't pick Bowser, MG laughed. Bowser is way better than a Koopaling, I shouted. MG gasped. How dare you? Oh, I dare, I challenged. Fine, MG said. Whoever wins gets to throw a pie in the loser's face. Deal, I said. I hope you like pie. MG didn't respond as the time ticked down. Dun, 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 bing. MG got speed boost while I spun out, but that didn't matter much. I soon caught up to him. Then I got a red shell. Tessie! MG yelled. Yes, I said as I passed him, now in first place and on the 3rd lap. MG growled. I was nearing the finish line when MG got a smirk. He got a blue shell. MG, I said. MG, no. 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 Whoops, MG said, not at all sarcastically. MG zoomed past me inches from the finish line. First place, he cheered. I thought I could trust you, I said. MG giggled. Sorry, Desi. It's fine, MG. I lost fair and square. But I was cut off by a chocolate cream pie straight to the face. Slowly, I wiped the filling from my eyes to see a smiling, smug 19-year-old. I glared at him. You little bit! MG shoved a piece of pie in my face again. Language? So, that's a bonus chapter. Doot. Oh, okay. We will not be reading the, next couple bonus chapters. Well, at least this one. I need to check the other one, because this one's smut. And I do not read smut on my channel. Yep, that's the last chapter. It was a smut chapter. So that is the end of the book. I hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed this journey. Let me know in the comments below what fanfics I should read. It doesn't have to be Sandersides. It could be Steven Universe. It could be Adventure Time. It could be Undertale. It could be anything you want. Except with Undertale, I don't know the voices for the characters because I never played Undertale. Just let me know what fandom you guys want me to cover and what book and by who so I could get permission from them. Just let me know what you guys want to hear and I'll definitely cover it. Hope you guys liked this, enjoyed it, and go in the description for a link to Tiltify so you could donate to help get supplies for nurses during this hectic time. Tomorrow I'll be posting a Sandersides theory, so if you like theories and Sandersides, which I know you guys like Sandersides because you guys are watching this and watched it till the end. So if you like Sandersides and if you like theories, you guys should join. If you want an example of what my theories are like, there'll be a Logan theory in the iCard up there. So yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe and like always, do your best.